All right, good morning and welcome to today's market color session. It is so good to have each and every one of us here. And I hope we've been making some profit from the market starting yesterday. So during the course of this analysis, we're going to be looking at commodity currencies. Let us see what this market has in store for us before we move into indices. So I'm going to be starting my analysis with a look at USD CAD starting from the H4 time frame. Now, during our last session, which was last week, Thursday, we marked out certain level points that wanted price to trade off from, which you can see here, basically saying that if price breaks above retest and gives us confirmation, we're looking for buy opportunities. But if price violates these zones and give a retest, then to be safe to say the opposite is about to happen. Looking at this now, price violated all of these points of interest, although it gave us relevant profits. Well, not relevance is relative, but it gave us a good enough profit before it started to reverse. So for the sake of today's analysis, I'm just going to pretty much take this level out and start a new and fresh look at the market. So USD CAD H4 time frame, what is our predominant price movement? If you're looking at price from somewhere around January, it's safe to say that price has been predominantly to the downside, major structure. But then you now look at minor structure, price consecutively breaking through the structure points to the upside, then it's safe to say price is currently buying. And remember, I drew out the zone saying if price continues to buy and is able to take out this resistance level, which I drew here, then we'll be seeing price buying all the way back into this particular major resistance level that we have somewhere in between 1.44575 and 1.43735. Now, price is now trading lower, but looking at this, zooming in to look at most recent price movement, price was breaking above, it failed to take out this zone, and we've seen the break of structure here. And then a sunshine was printed. This sunshine indicator was printed, basically giving us expectations for this buy to happen. Now that we saw this on USD CAD, where do we now think USD CAD will most likely buy back to before it now continues a particular direction? We now have new points of interest, which the first one is 1.40456, the second one is 1.40299, and the very third one is also 1.40182. So this buy was expected. It has bought now. Are we saying it has to buy into this zone? Preferably, we want to see it buy back into these levels before it continues to either sell because price was able to take out this structure point. However, if price now trades into this zone and takes out this level point, is able to eventually take out this zone, it will now be safe to say the buy move for USD CAD is predominantly to the upside. However, these are resistance levels that I'm looking out for on USD CAD. Trading here give me confirmations. Then we'll be looking at quick sell opportunities, targeting the trend on the 4-hour time frame, which is 1.38395, right? So let's see what happens. We'll now go to M5 to mark out most recent structure points that could be, areas of interest. Those are now yesterday's high, low, day before yesterday's high, and low. So mark that out. These are now my most recent points of interest. If price trades into these zones, it should find support at either of these levels that could now push price back into this resistance level that would hold to continue pushing USD CAD down. And if that happens, we're looking for sell continuations. However, if they get violated, then remember what I said, we could now be looking for buy opportunities that will come to take out this close resistance level that we have in between the 5th of November. And if price eventually takes out this zone, we'll be looking at price trading all the way up here. But if they get violated, more sell opportunities. Okay, that is it for USD CAD. Looking at AED USD now, starting from the H4 time frame. All right, price was buying from somewhere around 2nd of April. It bought, but they decided to see a temporal break of structures starting from the 1st of September on AED USD. And after doing that, we now see that a sunshine was printed. So this temporal sell of USD was expected. A sell into what could serve as support levels, as you can see from previous analysis session. I'll go ahead and quickly take these out. Go to H1 to draw out new POIs that could serve as support level for AUD/USD to either continue to buy or violate, break below, give us confirmation, and starts the opposite direction. So looking at this now, these are the zones I've marked out for AUD/USD: 0.65317, 0.65107, and 0.64994 are the three major points of interest I'm looking at for. Price already traded into. In fact, it could be safe to say that this POI in a way is already been triggered, although price didn't fully tap into what we would have marked out. But if you've heard me before, I always say this sometimes can't be more of a zone. That is band A to band B. In between, all of this could be a zone. But I like to use this so you can get specific price points, since not all of us have the indicators. So price is already reacting off of this level. Let's see if it holds to come and take out the next resistance point, which is all the way up here. I'm going to go ahead and mark out yesterday's high and low as well. Yesterday's high, low, day before yesterday's high and low. Okay, so AUSD M5 time frame, everything is pointing upward on this particular time frame. So price has broken above. We're going to see a retest. If this retest holds either here, or you could trade all the way into All right, sorry about that interruption. There was a brief network glitch, but we're back. So, Mr. Shea, in case you typed anything before, please kindly retype it so we can continue. Okay, so while he's typing, let us look at NZUSD. Okay, so, okay. It was that. All right, so NZUSD on the H4 time frame, what are we looking at? Look at this predominantly But then, no, this is not predominantly. NZUSD has been selling for a while. And if we could see something like this, we could see something like this, and price would now come to trade into the H4 trend. It's possible. However, if this sunshine begins to sell and is able to violate certain level points which will draw out, then we see more sell opportunities that will come into target 0.54840. So I'm just going to quickly take this out. The reason I like to take out previous level points when analyzing, especially with the all weather, is because I know the indicators may look like a lot, especially to people who are predominantly market structure traders. So I try not to confuse us too much, and try to start on a clean basis so you'd see what I am also seeing. So Sunshine break of structure has occurred to the downside a lot. Sunshine has been printed. We're expecting temporal sales of NZUSD. But where could this sell into if it's temporal before we now start to see that it either continues to buy or is going to violate through and continue to sell? These are the points of interest: 0.57147, 0.56908, and 0.56589 are now the three major points of interest that we are now looking at. So price will come into this zone and then give us a buyback into this level, which is 0.58782. That is following what price has been doing, because this, but if we're going to swing this, then there's still room for price to maybe buy. However, if price respects long-term breakout structures and continues giving us lower low and lower highs, then we may be seeing a sell into 0.54840. The reason why the buy is even now stronger, aside from this, because this swing is not so valid as we've seen several breaks. But look at this. When price came here, following the characteristic patterns of trends, instead of giving us a lower high, price came and validated this particular structure point. So we could see this and then another swing that will take out this level, till we see maybe a new trend forming, or just buys into the zone and continues to sell. So now let's now mark out yesterday's high, looking for yesterday's high and low. These are now the levels that I'm looking out for. Let's see what price does at the zones. And that is pretty much it for the three asset classes. Do we have high impact news releases coming out today? Let's take a quick look at Forex Factory. What are you looking at today, sir? Kindly share with us. So today is the 2nd of December. Look at this. All of them are low impact and medium impact news releases. So there's nothing predominantly. Okay, what's your bias? There's nothing predominantly coming out to do anything much, what's caused much volatility as of today's fundamental news releases that we're expecting. Tomorrow, Wednesday, 3rd of December, GDP QQ, quarter on quarter on Aussie, then non-farm employment change on the dollar, and ISM services PMI on the dollar as well. Then Thursday, unemployment claims on the dollar, and Friday, a couple of impact news releases on the dollar and the Canadian dollar. So make sure you keep an eye out on this to see what impacts they have. Okay, so one of us who is currently online is looking to short GU. You also want to pay attention to that and see what bias it provides. With that being said, let us move into Sorry about that brief interruption. There's a lot of technical issues and network issues. Nigeria is doing a lot today. But yes, let us now move into the second half of today's analysis, which would be covering, I'm telling you, it's crazy. But yes, moving to the second half, looking at indices. So don't go anywhere, we'll be back very, very, very shortly. Remember, one of us is looking at a short opportunity on GU, so you may want to look at that as well and do your own extra analysis to get more, confidence to take those positions. As always, if you're totally new to trading, do well to enroll for one of our training sessions, which covers Forex mainly and starting on Monday. For more information on that, simply WhatsApp 081 60 99 50 30 and let us guide you through. Okay, without taking too much more time, because it's already 8:53, we're supposed to end at 9. Let us now quickly go on a short break to reconvene and wrap up with a look at indices. Thank you, cheers, and God bless. Don't go anywhere, we'll be back shortly.
Thank you, Abby.
You're welcome, sir.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the second part of the market call this morning. How are we doing? Hope we are good. Hope we are fine. How is the trading week going? So far, so good. With the way the market has been rumbling for the past 1 to 2 weeks now. Been an interesting time in the market. Good morning, those watching us from YouTube and also on our Zoom. Mr. Shei, I see you, sir. Good morning. Hope you're good.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, so I.
All right, sir. So briefly, let us look into what the market is saying. US 30, NAS 100, and S&P 500. Very brief one today. We've seen it sell last week. Saw it rally to the downside last week. And then okay. All right, on the daily time frame, we saw a sell-off last week and then a recovery, which I said that this looked like again, because price has done what? Price has rallied into this zone, which we have a sweep here, a break of structure, and then a fair value gap with another block just above it. We could see like a sell-off, and then probably price is still trying to sell to the downside. Although this candlestick, this engulfing candlestick on the daily time frame, this is a bearish engulfing, right? And then we could see price tap into this and then continue selling to the downside. That's a possibility. But then overall bias in terms of sentiment, that is where it gets tricky because the US market really has been pushing a bit to the upside recently. So that is indicative of we might see price really not sell off the way we want it to sell off and just maybe, just sell a bit, probably another 200 pips for it to continue to the upside again. But nonetheless, from technical perspective, this is what we have. And if you are following our technical strictly, it's a good day to sell this market, right? And then where are we selling into? Selling into this zone, right? Price taking out this liquidity onto the downside, right? But then on the 1 hour, let's see if there's something interesting on the 1 hour. that we've not seen before. For so far, so good. You can see this is a lot of struggle over here for markets, right? It's a lot of struggle over here, both for buyers and sellers, because price is really, really struggling to, continue the sell, and the buy too is the price action here is not really nice. I believe it's probably due to Asian session, and it's already morning, so we should see some form of volatility extra, either to the downside or to the upside, right? And with that, we can follow it by 2 p.m. would follow through and then probably take some position in this market again, right? So, but for today, overall time frame, the market is very, very much on the overall time frame. We are bullish, right? Extremely bullish. You can see the kind of price action we have going on. But then there has been a shift. That's 2 weeks ago into last week and this week. There was a shift of structure, right? With price taking out external liquidity and internal liquidity. We're waiting for price to drop from the zone. All right. So let's move to the next one, which is US 100. That's NASDAQ. NASDAQ is also trying to recover from its sell-off, right? It had like some weeks ago, and then that's where we are on the daily time frame. Nothing really special. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame. Probably would see something interesting. On the 4-hour time frame, we've seen price broke structure repeatedly, right? Yeah, price has broken structure to the upside more than once, which is quite significant, if you ask me, quite significant. So what should we expect? Expect that the market continue its bullish move. Where will it start from? That is the main thing now. Where will this bullish move start from? Nobody knows. All this area has been exhausted. All this area has been exhausted. Probably we can create a form of an order block before 2 or 3 p.m. A form of order block or fair value gap, and then the price will use that to push to the upside. All right. But let me check if there are news today, so that no news. Okay, no news, not really any significant news. So we are good to go, right? And the same thing with US 500, right? That's S&P 500, the same analysis. So for today, probably I'll just keep US 100, that's NASDAQ, and S&P 500 on the side. Yeah, keep them side by side, and then my focus will be on US 30, right? Because we have more of like a very active setup playing out already on US 30, and we can use that to even further take trades on US 100 if we see opportunities, because most times the move they have correlation, they are heavily correlated. So if that's the case, even if we see a buy or sell opportunity on US 30, you can as well just divide the risks and take some part on US 100, because they will still move in tandem, right? They move together. All right. So that's really, really what we have going on this morning in the markets. Nothing really special. We have no news today. And I forgot to check my data this morning to see if there's any, earnings reports coming out anytime soon, so that we could as well prepare for that, because that will drive the US 100 market, right? That's the NASDAQ. There's any significant earning reports from the major, companies. That's pretty much what we have this morning. Thank you so much for joining, sir. If you have any questions, it's a good place to ask. And if we don't have any question, have any contribution, that is very, very much welcome. All right, sir. Do you have any questions, sir?
No, not for now. All is in order.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for joining. We'll reconvene again by 2 in the afternoon, where we'll just look at, the overall bias of the market, if anything significant has changed, and then we can now use that to realign ourselves back in the market once again. All right. Thank you so much, sir, for joining this morning. We'll see you again by 2:30. Cheers and God bless.